Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're excited for this week's video. I asked you guys if you'd rather have me show you how to sear steak or scallops, and you were of absolutely no help. I will show you how to do both, don't worry, but today I thought I'd show you guys how to properly sear a steak indoors, or how we do it in the restaurant. I figured I'd start with the steak because it's kind of the same process. And this one is a little bit harder to than the scallop. So this week's video is going to be a bit more technical. I'm going to go a little bit more in depth about why I'm using certain ingredients and why I've chosen certain pieces of equipment and my recommendations. I guess I'm going to talk a little bit about what I've got in front of me. So let's start with the beef. I have a piece of AAA strip loin. When I choose a specific cut for steaks, I like to pick one that's got some marbling in it. So if you take a look at this guy, you'll see that there's nice, there's fat running through it. Right up top here, this thick layer of fat, that's what we call the fat cap. And I like to keep it on when I'm cooking because as the fat renders, it adds more flavor. So I generally gravitate towards strip loin. Your oil selection is also very important when it comes to searing meat indoors. So I've got some canola oil here that I'm going to use today. You need to make sure that when you're searing anything, or anytime you want to bring a pan up to an extremely high heat, you need to choose an oil that has a very high smoke point. You want to gravitate towards canola oil, grapeseed oil. If you're super bougie, avocado oil. Those all take longer to burn. I just got some salt and pepper over here for seasoning. And on this fun little plate, I've got my aromatics. So we've got 2 cloves of garlic that I've lightly crushed and peeled, but they're whole. Half a shallot, same thing, I peeled it, but I just kind of cut it into 2 little pieces because this is not going to be in our finished product. We're really just using this to season the butter. Some fresh thyme, a small bunch of fresh thyme, about 3 tablespoons of butter, unsalted butter, and then 2 little bay leaves. For equipment, your choice of pan when searing a steak is important. Your first choice should be a cast iron pan. Now, cast iron pans are the best pan because they really retain heat and they really evenly distribute it throughout the pan. So when you put that piece of beef in there, the pan isn't going to cool down instantly. If you choose a pan that is really flimsy, you'll see that it sears on the outside but not underneath, and that's because the pan cools down so quickly. So you really want to choose a heavy bottom pan, and cast irons are the best way to go. Non-stick pans, the reason I wouldn't recommend them is because when you bring this pan to a very high heat, the Teflon doesn't like it. So it'll start to scratch off and get destroyed. Got just a pair of tongs. We're going to be basting our hot butter over our beef. So you want to make sure you grab a big spoon. But I have this fun little tool. Now, if you do not have one of these in your kitchen, you need to pick it up. This is an instant read thermometer. When it comes to steak and the different temperatures in steak, you want to make sure you have something that gives you an accurate reading. It's the best thing to use. So these guys, I could not recommend this more. You need to get an instant read thermometer. They are a godsend. A paper towel, because you want to make sure you pat your steak before you sear. If there is excess moisture in there, you're not going to get caramelization that you want. For the process, there are pretty much 4 steps. We're going to season our meat, sear our meat, baste it, and then we're going to rest it. When we are seasoning our beef, you want to make sure that you season the beef pretty aggressively. You want to season from high up. I know that internet guy, like Salt Bay or whatever, does that. He's not wrong. I mean, this is kind of stupid, but he's not wrong. You want to season from high up because you want to make sure it evenly distributes. So up here, if I'm seasoning, you can see it's kind of evenly going over the beef. If you season from down here, you're only spot seasoning. You don't want that. Same thing with your pepper, okay? And you need to season both sides. Seasoning, boom. So that is a well-seasoned steak. I know it looks aggressive. I know you're like, oh, the sodium. It's fine, okay? This is what you want. Searing, we want to get our pan on high heat and we want to bring it to a rage. You want to have your canola oil almost smoking. I'll show you guys and I'll point out when it's time for the steak to go in the pan and when it's time to flip. Do not touch it. Everybody everybody is always like playing around with it. They want to check it. Don't flip it, leave it alone. Let it do its thing, okay? Once you start to see caramelization on the edges, which again, I'll show you, okay? Calm down. That's when you want to flip it over. And you're gonna let it sit for probably about another minute. Once you start to see some caramelization on the second side, that's when all these lovely ingredients come into play. So you take your butter, pop it in the pan, melt it down, and then you're gonna throw in your fresh thyme and your bay leaf, and then your garlic and your shallots. You're gonna let that sit for a little bit. Once it's all kind of infused and you'll be able to smell it, that's when we start basting. So we're gonna use our big spoon. You're gonna baste it for a little while until you take your thermometer and you get it to the temperature that you want. Medium rare is like 130 to 135 Fahrenheit. So once you can take your probe and you insert it into the thickest part of the beef, if it says 130, perfect. You're gonna pop it out and you're gonna rest it. You need to rest your meat. You need to let it chill out a little bit to give the proteins a chance to relax and the juices a chance to evenly redistribute themselves throughout the piece of meat. When it comes to steaks, I like to let them rest for almost as long as they were in the pan. So I'm gonna shut up now and show you what it's supposed to look like and how to do it. Are you ready? I'm ready. Guys, we are back. I let it rest. Now I'm really just gonna cut into it and show it to you guys, okay? Fat cap comes off first. So we're just going to cut this off and now we're gonna cut into it and I can already see that it's perfect. All right, oh God, moment of truth. Here we go. Yep, that's it. Nice, perfect center for me. But that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this steak searing demo. Give it a try. Try this and let me know if you think it's different than when you do it on the grill, because I want to know your opinion. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Maybe you want to drop a comment down below if there's something you want to see. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this every Wednesday. Have a good one, guys. See you next week. Bye.